Howdy there, folks. How are y'all doing? My name is Reese, and welcome back to another episode of our Tekkit Legends Let's Play Adventure, where previously, very recently for me actually, I released an episode talking about how important it is for me to have episodes that are quality, that look good and sound good, and there was an audio glitch, and the entire right channel was not included in the upload. It was included in the actual file itself, so I'm not entirely sure how it went from being in the file to not being in the finished product when it got uploaded. But people were asking if I was going to re-upload that, and my answer to them and my answer to you right now is no, because even though I say that these are being recorded on the same day they're being released, because they are. You know, never break the illusion that is reality. They're not, actually, and I've already got all the other episodes for quite a while. I've got these may or may not be on the same day. They definitely are. Again, never break the illusion of reality. It's also entirely possible though that I've got like a week of them recorded, and this is being recorded on the same day that one was released. And it would screw up the whole schedule to go back and try to re-upload that one and release it later because of the amount of time it would take to re-upload it. And the fact that I'm trying to release the 100th episode of this on the last day of the month. I know I wasn't really going to talk about the meta plans. You know, I don't like to get meta in these, but let's get meta for a moment. We are releasing the 100th episode of this series on the last day of the month, and that will more than likely be the end of it, which is why we've put so much work into finishing the building projects around here. Because remember, the goal, after we completed the 100, 100, 100 challenge, or whatever it was we were doing, it was something like that. Was it the 25, 25, 25, actually? I think is what the challenge was. Does it matter in the long term? The goal was to rebuild the village after we ourselves destroyed it. And we did. We moved in, we destroyed the village, we used the houses of the locals for our own purposes, and we like dug up the earth, and we ravaged the lands, and the whole purpose of everything following that was to rebuild and restore and make things right. And that's what we're currently doing. And some of you might have thought, well, Reese, you did that. You did that and it's done. You did that when you rebuilt the city. And look, you're not wrong. Look at this beautiful city. There's really only one house left from the original town, and that's this one right here. It's barely even a house. It's where Timothy lives without his son Tim. They have 2 beds, but Tim is no longer with us. We've yet to find him. We don't know what happened to Tim. But yeah, they do have like a nice, secure enclave up here, where Bob and his most trusted allies live. Presumably his allies. I don't know. Maybe they're not friends. Maybe they don't get along. Maybe it's just random people. But we also need to have the outside here, where the lowly folks live. Like the stable boy and his stable man, and this hotel with no owner. You know, we got to get all of this stuff done as well. And of course, my place, right outside of town here, this is what it looks like upon approach. I know we've never actually done this, but this is what it looks like. Boom. Welcome to the super secure enclave. We don't have like razor wire like they do, but we've got a nice wall. Kind of wish we'd built a wall like that around here. Although we did build sort of a wall over here, like this retaining wall. This was pretty impressive. At one point, I considered going through and adding some texture to the wall, kind of like we had done our wall over there. You know, maybe every other line has some steps or something. I would just break it up a little bit, make it look less uniform, but the amount of work required for that would have been absurd. And we got this done pretty quick, so let's not be hasty. Master Hobbit, let's not be hasty. I was trying to think of other quotes from Treebeard, but that's all I can think of. Does he call them Master Hobbits? I think he just calls them Little Hobbits. Little Hobbits? What is he? Remember they have the conversation of the trees, and they're all like, "We've spent the last 42 hours determining that you are not, in fact, orcs." It's like, oh, that's good. And then for some reason, Merry is like super invested in them going to war, even though up until that point we hadn't really seen that from his character. Like, Merry's not really a warlord type. He's not like a warrior type. He doesn't really have any sort of dialogue that suggests that he's super invested in the war and the peace and the defeating of Sauron or any of that. But then for some reason you get to this tree council, And I have to apologize. Jenna and I are rewatching the Lord of the Rings for movie night with Micah and Brenton. And I was just noticing, I was like, suddenly Mary is just very invested in the outcome of this war and against Sauron. And what happened there? We're watching the extended editions as well, before you ask. And no, there's just nothing else there. And then the next one, he's like, I want to go fight with Rohan. All my friends have gone to war. It's like, but why? Pippin didn't want to go to war. Pippin was just stupid and touched the Palantir and saw the mind of the wicked one himself because he's an idiot, you know. And Frodo and Sam haven't gone away to war. They're just climbing around with the. Well, you don't know he's with Smeagol, but as far as you know, he's just trying to make his way to Sauron. So what do you mean all your friends have gone to war? Are you talking about the 3 people you met, the 3 other people in the Fellowship who aren't dead yet? I guess they've gone to war, and I guess if you count Gandalf, 4. Okay, you befriended an elf, a dwarf, a human, and a wizard, and yes, the 4 of them are going to war. But are you really going to call them friends? Like, what is a friend in your mind? Like, come on, man. It just comes out of nowhere, and it confuses me. I don't know where this sudden desire to see the world safe. And he does say to Mary at one point, Mary's like, maybe we should just go back to the Shire, and he's like, I don't know, you know, I feel like if we don't fight, there might not be a Shire, you know, to go back home to, because I don't think this war is gonna just stop here with what's going on with the forest and all that. And you're supposed to be like, oh, but no, he hasn't voiced this before. This is just coming out of nowhere. Look at this hotel. I kind of like it. I'm kind of happy with how it turned out, honestly. I think it looks pretty good. It does stick way out over the town though. Although again, that's probably ideal. Like you can stand right here in this corner. And no rain. Although if the storm's coming from that direction, let's be honest, it's so high up there, the rain is going to blow over into this corner. You're still going to get wet. I reckon even if you're standing like right down here, because it doesn't stick out, you know what, right under this ledge might be fine. But it kind of anywhere else. Right under here for sure, because of how low the roof is. I don't know. Is that really relevant, horses? No, I didn't think so either. So what are we going to work on next? We've only got a few more days before Thanksgiving. And I've been thinking that maybe we need to have something to show, like some sort of an event when people arrive back here. We got to be able to like show off something to them. Like, oh, hey, welcome. Today our entertainment's going to be, so maybe we should build like a burlesque club? No, definitely not that. Definitely not that. I'm going to go ahead and say that's a bad idea. Why are there so many of these torches out? Oh, right. Jenna and I went around launching monsters into the sky. How long ago was that? We're almost 100 episodes into this. This is going to be as long as my original Tekkit Legends series, except I think that in terms of total time, like the playlist itself will take longer to watch, because the 101 videos in the Tekkit Legends playlist. First off, there's not 101 episodes of Tekkit Legends, right? Like, let's dispel that myth immediately. There's far fewer than that if you add all 3 seasons together. It's a lot of mini episodes in that go in there, and you know, because I did the little mini-sodes in between occasionally, and so those sort of padded out the number of videos in the playlist. There's 101 videos, I believe. I think the 101st video in the playlist is a link to the Tekkit 2 series that I did, which was sort of a continuation of the original Tekkit Legends. I did not mean to put those there at all. So yeah, that's a thing. What I was thinking we could do is, what if we built a road kind of right out of town through this here newly developed forest, across this chasm, and then over to here where you could look at this volcano, and then maybe we can have a viewing platform up here where you can observe the volcano. But I don't know if we really have all that much time to get something like that done. And then is that really sort of how you want to spend your Thanksgiving, just looking at a volcano? We talked about this before, though. Like, this is going to be sort of the big thing. Oh, wow, that did get rid of, like, a lot of the trees in the vicinity, which is what I wanted, so I'm not upset. I'm just saying it was intense. Let's go ahead and grab this one, too, and see what happens. Right-click. Wow, okay. So these leaves should start decaying. How far is that? Oh, it reaches like super far. Okay. No, this is ideal. We've gotten rid of all the leaves. This is good. Now we can start the process of. Wait a minute. Does this break like a flat disc or a cube? I can't remember. It's the ground, isn't it? Okay, a flat disc. So we can make that super big. Perfect. And we can use this to flatten this down. I think we might be doing this, folks. I think we might, in the words of Finn talking to Rey in Star Wars The Force Awakens, are we really doing this? Yes, we are. Also, guys, thank y'all for asking. I did quite enjoy The Mandalorian. I've seen episode 1, 2, and by the time you're watching this, 3, and of course this is being recorded on the day it's released. So, episode 3, you know, I've definitely seen it, and I've got opinions, and I'd love to talk about those opinions. Maybe we'll talk about them in a different episode of this series, though. You know, maybe I want to save that as conversation fodder for later. But if you haven't seen it yet, you need to get the Disney Plus, and you need to go watch it, because it's actually, like, really, really good. I've really enjoyed watching it. And we've been doing that for movie night, and I'm planning on making, like, my nieces watch it with me as well, because I think at least the oldest one, Jaylee, I think she'll like it. See if I can get my dad to watch it. He might like it. It's got a bit of a Western flair to it. It's pretty good, you know? It's got sort of the same plot line as every Western ever made. You know, you got the rough and tumble cowboy who's got a heart of gold, but he's a little rough around the edges. And, oh, Shrek me sideways. How did that happen? What? Hold on. What? Okay, see, now that's the sort of behavior we expect out of this thing. Not this. This is not what we expect. It's okay, we got plenty of dirt. We can fill it back in. We can get one of those, aethernal, what are they called? There's a charm for this. No, it's the mercurial. The mercurial eye. Yeah, we'll get one of those. And we will grab a Klein Star. Just get like the base one. Klein Star. And then a little bit of dirt and a little bit of Klein Star and a whole lot of juice. And perfect. Yeah, we fixed it. We fixed the problem. You can't even tell there was a problem here. What problem? That's what people are going to say when they see this. They're just going to say, what problem? That looks perfectly natural to me. Look at this. Bada bing, bada boom, problem resolved. We did accidentally make it too high, though. So let's recharge that, and very delicately. If it does it again, so help me. There we go. Oh, okay, so the Mandalorian, he's not afraid to kill some innocent people and destroy some things to get to his goal. But at the end of the day, you know, he's had a hard childhood. There's a backstory, and there's some battle droids in the backstory, which is cool because y'all know how I love the Clone Wars. And the show's good, you know. I was worried he was going to be a bit of a Gary Stu character, like one of those, fan insert kind of characters where he's just like perfect and he can do anything and everyone loves him. Which is kind of what, Star Wars does now with their female characters. Because why make interesting, dynamic female characters when you can just create perfect, idealistic people who are in no way relatable or interesting to watch? That seems to be the current way of doing things over at Disney. But instead, they made a character in The Mandalorian who fails, which is, I think, unique. He's not the Gary Stu type. He doesn't do everything right the first time. Like, he's good at combat, and he would be good at combat because it's what he's been doing for, his job for so long now. And, but he does get his butt handed to him. He struggles. Everything doesn't work out perfectly the way he plans. Sometimes he embarrasses himself. Maybe he can't write a blarg or whatever they're called perfectly. And he's like, I don't even want to try. And he has to have like an old farmhand teach him the error of his ways and be like, hey, why don't you try though, you dummy? And he has to be like, you know what? You make a good point there, old man. You make a good point. I'm trying to see if I've got this centered up in the center of the volcano. That's where we're flying over here. All right, so we're just going to fly straight ahead. I don't think I'm flying straight ahead. I'm on fire. It's hard to tell. Okay, hold on. Okay, centered up. Flying straight ahead. I'm still not flying straight ahead. My reticle is moving as I go. All right, let's do this. Let's build up a couple blocks. And then let's get ourselves like right in the middle here. Right in the middle. Straight ahead. Here we go. This is the middle. Are we veering off to one side still? We'll find out when we land. If we're not perfectly centered, that's the middle right there. Oh, it doesn't look like the middle though, does it? No, you know what? I think it is. I think we've done it. Okay, so let's fly back up there. We'll break those two pieces, and we'll see how we did. If we like fly between the two of them. Notice I'm listing to the left a bit, but hey, we did it. Okay. That seems like a scientific enough test to me. Yeah, you know, it's good. If you haven't watched The Mandalorian, go watch The Mandalorian. We're done with our time for today, but I'm going to do a little bit more building here, and I just want to leave off on this one note. There's a pretty big spoiler at the end of the first episode, and there's been I've actually got to say, I mean, yes, I know what it is, and I've seen it, but I think that the internet's been pretty kind on not spoiling it so far, but we don't know how long that goodwill is going to hold up. So, you know, maybe jump in now before the goodwill of the internet expires, and you find out what the twist is at the end of the first episode. The twist is that the Mandalorian is actually Kathleen Kennedy. No, I'm kidding. I know I said that it struggled, but it's at least halfway competent. Ha ha! Thank you folks for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you later. Bye!